Most Ford drivers don't realize they're slowly beating up their engine just by doing everyday things that feel completely normal. You're not abusing the truck, you're just driving it. But those small habits add up. F-150s, Explorers, and Super Duty trucks are absolutely capable of 300 to 500,000 miles. Yet the way they're driven can cut that life in half without a single warning light. So in this video, we're going to talk through 5 sneaky habits that quietly wreck Ford engines, and the simple fixes real owners use to avoid massive repair bills. If you drive a Ford, this is for you. Let's talk about one of the most common habits that slowly beats Ford engines to death, without throwing a dramatic warning light. Constant short trips. I'm talking about those 2 to 5 mile runs to work, school drop-offs, grocery store loops, stop-and-go errands, the kind of driving most people do every single day. Here's the problem. Your engine never actually gets hot. Not the gauge moved a little warm, I mean fully up to temperature, coolant stabilized, oil thinned out and circulating everywhere, exhaust piping hot, and emissions system fully awake. On short trips, that never happens. Coolant hangs below operating temperature, oil stays thick and contaminated, and the exhaust system stays cold and sooted up. Both gas and diesel Fords hate this, but Power Stroke diesels and EcoBoost engines hate it the most. On diesels, short trips cause wet stacking. Unburned fuel ends up diluting the oil, EGR systems pack full of soot, and DPF regens don't complete. The truck tries to clean itself, interrupts the regen because you shut the engine off, and the extra fuel winds up in the crankcase instead of getting burned. Over time, bearings, injectors, and turbos pay the price. Gas engines don't get a free pass either. On direct injection motors like the 2.7 or 3.5 EcoBoost, and even the 5.0 Coyote, you get rapid carbon buildup on the backs of the intake valves. That's where misfires, rough idle, and power loss creep in. People think it's just getting old. No, it's getting short-tripped. Then they're shocked when they're quoted $1,000 to $1,500 for walnut blasting to clean valves that never should have gummed up that fast. I've seen the difference in the real world over and over. A ranch-use F-150 that spends life doing short hauls around the property is in head gaskets at 110,000 miles. That same truck, same engine running highway miles all day, it cruises past 350 to 400,000 miles like nothing ever happened. Phoenix suburb Explorers driven only to school and back start losing 3 miles per gallon, idling rough and throwing random misfire codes before 70K. It's not the climate, it's the short trip length. Cold engines simply don't burn clean. Cylinders glaze, rings stop sealing as tight, compression slips, and none of it screams loudly at first. It's the slow kind of damage. So what do you do if your life is full of short trips? You don't have to move or quit errands, you just need to add one intentional hot run. Bundle errands into one longer loop, or once a week or every other week at minimum, take the truck for a 20 to 30 minute highway drive. Steady speed, gentle throttle, let everything warm up fully. That's when oil burns moisture out. That's when the DPF actually completes a regen. That's when catalytic converters and O2 sensors get hot enough to stay clean. EcoBoosts especially love this. Do that constantly, and you'll notice the difference in fuel economy, fewer regens, cleaner oil samples, and far less carbon buildup. It's a simple habit change that can be literally the difference between major repairs at 120,000 or driving the same Ford comfortably past 300,000. Let's be honest, Ford truck owners love to idle. Job sites, tailgates, drive-thrus, construction breaks, waiting on someone in the parking lot. The truck sits there humming away because it keeps the AC going or keeps it warm. It feels harmless, almost like the engine is resting. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Prolonged idling quietly wrecks engines. When an engine idles for long periods, combustion isn't as clean as it is under light driving. The RPM is low, cylinder pressure is low, and fuel doesn't burn completely. That unburned fuel doesn't just disappear. It slides past the rings, washes the oil film off the cylinder walls, and ends up in the crankcase. Over time, You're basically thinning your oil with gasoline or diesel. Fleet studies tell the story clearly. Vehicles idling 2 or more hours a day routinely show 5 to 10% fuel dilution in the oil. And diluted oil doesn't protect anything properly. Bearings lose their film strength, pistons scuff the cylinder walls, and turbochargers get fed overheated, weakened oil that then bakes into hard carbon inside the turbo's passages. That's where mystery turbo failures really come from. Diesels get hit even harder. Extra idling means more DPF regens, more post-injection fuel, more diesel ending up in the crankcase, EGR valves sticking from thick soot. Pretty soon you've got a truck that idles beautifully, right up until it needs very expensive repairs. I've seen it firsthand. A Florida contractor with an F-250 idled roughly 4 hours a day on job sites. At just 4,000 miles into an oil change, his oil analysis showed 8% diesel fuel dilution. By 98,000 miles, the bearings were wiped and the bill to rebuild the bottom end was north of $14,000. Meanwhile, that same model truck in a fleet that strictly limited idle time ran past 400K on the original bottom end. Same engine, different habits. Transmissions don't love idle either. With automatics like the 10R80 or 6R80, extended idle with the truck in gear keeps the torque converter slipping and the fluid heat-soaked. You get glazed clutch packs and early, mysteriously tired transmissions. So what's the fix? It's simple and totally doable. If you're stopped for more than about 90 seconds, shut it off. Unless you're running PTO equipment that truly needs the engine. In winter, a block heater does far more good than 15 minutes of cold idling. For work trucks that truly must idle, a high idle system, around 1,000 to 1,200 RPM, is far healthier than lugging at 650 to 700 RPM because it promotes cleaner combustion. After long idle periods, taking the truck for a short highway drive helps burn off some dilution and moisture. And if you really want to see what your habits are doing, watch EGTs and regen frequency with an OBD scanner. Chronic idlers regen roughly 3 times as often as normal drivers. Bottom line, idling feels free. It isn't. It silently eats engines, turbos, transmissions, and emission systems. Cutting idle time is one of the easiest ways to add years and hundreds of thousands of miles to your Ford. Picture this. It's morning, fire up your F-150, Mustang, or Super Duty, back out of the driveway, hit the main road, and then mash the throttle to merge into traffic. The truck sounds strong, it pulls hard, everything feels fine, but internally that cold acceleration is one of the most brutal things you can do to a Ford engine. When an engine is cold, oil is still thick and sits mostly in the pan. It hasn't fully made its way to the top end, the cam journals, or the turbo bearings yet. For the first 30 to 60 seconds after startup, your engine is depending on residual film, not full flow lubrication. Hammer the throttle during that window, and you're asking metal parts to survive high load and high RPM while basically half oiled. Cold engines also don't fit properly yet. Pistons, rings, cylinder walls, and bearings are all designed to expand with heat. When everything is cold, clearances are larger, tolerances are looser, and parts slap around more. Now, add high cylinder pressure from hard acceleration, and you get ring flutter, piston scuffing, and bearing abuse before the oil has fully warmed or thick components have expanded into their ideal shapes. Turbocharged Fords get hit even harder. On EcoBoost trucks and 6.7 power stroke diesels, cold acceleration instantly spins the turbo to tens of thousands of RPM while the bearings are still waiting for full oil flow. That's exactly how you end up with scored turbo shafts, coked oil in the center housing, and early shaft play. People blame the turbo brand, but it was the cold throttle habit the whole time. I've seen real-world examples of this play out. A Colorado F-250, running cold boost passes up I-70 in the Rockies, developed noticeable turbo shaft play around 40,000 miles and needed a replacement to the tune of almost $5,000. Meanwhile, another truck in the same fleet, same engine, same terrain, simply avoided heavy boost until warm and ran nearly 300,000 miles on its original turbo with no drama. Mustang owners are notorious for this too. Cold start, drive straight to the strip, full throttle launches with ice cold oil, Then they act shocked when rod bearings spin at 30 to 40,000 miles. The engine wasn't weak, it was abused while cold. So what's the smarter habit? Simple. Warm first, play later. Start the engine and let it idle about 30 to 60 seconds to stabilize oil pressure. Then, drive normally but gently, keeping RPM under roughly 2,500 to 3,000 and avoiding boost until the oil is up to temperature. Not just coolant, oil. Coolant warms fast, oil takes longer. If you use an OBD reader, watch oil temperatures instead of guessing. Wait until it's around 180 to 200 Fahrenheit before doing anything spirited. For the first 5 minutes, no flooring it, no highway pulls, no full boost passes, just smooth, easy driving. Shops see the difference every day. Drivers who regularly hammer a cold engine are the same ones paying for early turbo replacements, timing chain repairs, and bearing jobs before 100,000 miles. The people who warm up properly, they're the ones quietly hitting 250 to 350K on original turbos and bottom ends. It takes a few extra minutes of patience, but those minutes are the difference between engine failure at 120K and still running strong at 300K. This one catches more Ford owners than almost anything else because the mistake feels completely harmless. You tow up a long grade, run hard on the highway, or push the truck through mountain passes. You reach your destination, park, turn the key off, and walk away. It feels normal. But for turbocharged Fords, it's brutal. After a heavy pull, the turbocharger temperatures are sky high. Exhaust gas temperatures can sit in the 1,200 to 1,500 Fahrenheit range, and the turbo turbine housing itself may still be glowing hot. When you shut the engine off immediately, oil flow stops instantly. But the heat doesn't. That trapped oil sits inside the turbo's bearings and oil passages and literally cooks into hard carbon. That carbon doesn't just look ugly, it blocks lubrication passages. Over thousands of miles, bearings start to run dry, shaft play increases, vanes stick, and seals get cooked. Later on, you see the symptoms: blue smoke, whining noises, sluggish boost, or the dreaded turbo needs replacement estimate. Owners think the turbo just failed at 120,000, when really, the damage started years earlier with repeated hot shutdowns. Variable geometry turbos on 6.7 Power Stroke diesels and the fast spooling units on a 3.5-liter EcoBoost engine are especially vulnerable. They run hot by design, so any oil that's left sitting inside them during shutdown is almost guaranteed to when you don't let them cool. There are real-world examples everywhere. An Arizona hauler running canyon grades repeatedly shut his F-350 down the moment he parked. No cool down, ever. By 112,000 miles, his turbo basically grenaded and he was blowing smoke down the interstate. Meanwhile, his brother, with the same truck, same work, same terrain, simply idled a few minutes after hard pulls and is now cruising past 375,000 miles on the original turbo. Nothing lucky about it, just habits. EcoBoost fleets see this too. F-150s used for hotshot work with constant hot shutdowns often chew through turbos around 120 to 150,000 miles. The fleets that enforce cool down time, those same trucks push well past 250K on original units. So what's the right habit? Make cool down a ritual, even when you're tired and just want to shut off the car. After towing, hill climbs, highway sprints, or high boost runs, spend 2 to 4 minutes driving gently or idling in neutral around 1,000 to 1,200 RPM. That keeps the oil flowing and sheds hundreds of degrees of heat from the turbo. If you run an OBD app, watch EGT or oil temperature. Don't shut down until EGT is under about 400 Fahrenheit, or oil temp has dropped significantly from peak. No fancy parts required, just patience. If you start to notice growing turbo lag, faint whining, or occasional blue smoke on startup, that's often the early footprint of past oil cooking. Catching it now and changing habits can slow further damage. Drivers who make cool down automatic, like buckling a seatbelt, routinely double turbo life. It's one of the simplest habits you can build, and it pays off in thousands of dollars saved and hundreds of thousands of miles gained. Cool it down before you shut it down. Most owners never connect these habits to engine failure until it's too late, which is why I put together a complete long-term Ford survival guide. A lot of Ford owners honestly believe they're being gentle when they tow or climb hills at really low RPM. You hear it all the time at gas stations and campgrounds. Heavy throttle at low RPM saves fuel, don't let it rev. It sounds logical, it feels smooth, and it is one of the biggest lies quietly killing Ford powertrains. Picture this: an F-150 dragging an 11,000-pound trailer up a long grade at 65 miles per hour, sitting stubbornly in top gear at 1,300 to 1,400 RPM. The truck isn't screaming, it doesn't feel stressed, but inside the engine, cylinder pressures are sky high, often exceeding 3,000 psi at these loads. Oil film gets squeezed thin, bearings take the abuse directly, and head gaskets start weeping long before they actually blow. You don't see the damage that day. You see it months or years later when power drops, coolant mysteriously disappears, and a $6,000 repair quote shows up. Transmissions hate this behavior too. Staying in too tall a gear forces constant hunting and slipping as the converter tries to make up for the lack of RPM. Clutch packs glaze, fluid cooks, and the transmission ends up running hotter than it ever would if the driver had simply downshifted earlier. Meanwhile, exhaust gas temperatures spike unpredictably, especially on turbo engines, stressing turbos, manifolds, and valves. There are real-world stories everywhere. A Montana F-250 that lugged up mountain grades had head gaskets fail at just 95,000 miles. $6,200 later, it was back on the road. Same exact truck, same work, but driven in the proper 2,000 to 2,400 RPM range, it's still tight past 420,000 miles. The difference wasn't luck, it was driving habits. EcoBoost Explorers do it too. Hold high gear on long grades without a downshift, and you'll watch transmission temps hover at 230 to 235 degrees. That's death by heat territory if you live there long enough. So what's the best habit? Let the engine live where it was designed to make torque. For most modern Fords, that sweet spot under load is roughly 1,800 to 2,800 RPM. Use tow haul mode, downshift before the engine starts to bog, turn cruise control off on hills, and manage speed with your right foot. If you've got a gauge or OBD app, keep transmission temps under about 210 Fahrenheit and EGTs under roughly 1,200 to 1,250 during long pulls. You'll instantly feel the difference. Smoother response, cleaner shifts, and far less heat stress. Drivers who insist on lugging usually need bearings, gaskets, and transmission work around 100 to 150,000 miles. Drivers who stop being afraid of RPM routinely see these same parts last 300,000 miles. Engines are not fragile up there. Ford designed them to work in that range. What actually hurts them is being forced to drag huge loads at tractor RPM. Bonus habit: fuel stops matter more than most people realize. Cheap diesel with water contamination is a CP4 pump killer, and CP4 failures are not small. They're often $7,000 to $10,000 disasters because they send metal through the entire fuel system. Stick with top-tier stations when possible. Drain your water separator monthly, and don't run mystery fuel from no-name pumps just because it's convenient. Lugging feels gentle. It isn't. Give your Ford the RPM it was built to use. Tow smart, and your bearings, head gaskets, turbo, and transmission will thank you for hundreds of thousands of miles.